Hello, good afternoon and welcome to News Today on your Joy News channel here on Multi TV. Coming up, Ghana mourns lives lost in the nation's worst flood disaster a year on. We'll bring you more on a ceremony held to commemorate the day. And family of 7 perished in fire outbreak in Asante Mampong, even as the country mourns the souls of more than 150 that were lost to the country's worst flood and fire disaster. We'll be live at Asante Mampong and bring you the very latest from the scene of the incident. We have details of those stories, including business, sports, entertainment, as well as international updates, all coming up in the next hour here on News Today. Stay with us. My name is Kwabena Chencheni. Many thanks for joining us here on News Today to our very first story this hour. And it's exactly a year today when floodwaters mixed with blazing fire swept through the Kwame Nkrumah Circle here in Accra, killing 153 people and destroying several property. It was a Wednesday Ghanaians would wish to forget in a hurry. Today, that horrendous event is being marked here in the capital, Accra, with several events. Now, the first is a memorial service attended by President John Dramani Mahama and several other dignitaries and survivors. Joy News editor Arba Kumsin was in attendance and is joining me now on phone with the very latest. So, Arba, good afternoon. Many thanks for your time here on News Today. So, can you tell us what transpired there? Right, we do not have Araba on the line, but my colleague Derek Ekosam was also at this very ceremony. I believe Derek Ekosam is rather on the line. So, Derek, if you can hear me, can you tell us more about what has been happening today? Derek Ekosam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so we want to know exactly what has been happening today as far as commemorating this day is concerned.
Well, the memorial service for the lost souls, the souls that were lost during the June 3 flood and fire disasters, was held today. We had the president in attendance. We had people from the NPA, the Accra mayor was also here, and they all vowed that never again will what we saw the country a year ago happen again. After that, they moved to the site, ground zero, as it has now become known as, to lay wreath to commemorate the day. And then from here, the entourage has moved on to the Abotokai Mosque. Today is a Friday, the Muslims are praying, so they have moved to the Abotokai Mosque to also have a separate service for the Muslim souls that were lost. We have people here who are lamenting the fact that even after the disaster, the donations that are supposed to have gone to them didn't go through them. And this particular lady also here, also talking about the fact that she's yet to retrieve the body of her sister who also died because she has to go through some processes before she gets them. It's been a solemn activity. We've had some state officials come in here to pay their tribute to the lost souls as well. It's been sober, it's been somber as well. You have people wearing red and black. You also have people who stay around the area where all of this happened, also here to pay their last respect to the souls that were lost. As I speak to you now, we have some dirges being played in the background, and you have people around here so seeing what has happened. The site has been open now. When you go in there, you see the car that was burned during the disaster also here.
Derek, going back to the memorial service, you did tell us a while ago that quite a number of dignitaries were there, including the president himself, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. What has been that word from himself or some of his officials as far as ensuring that this thing doesn't happen again is concerned?
Repeat your question again.
I'm asking what has been the word from government in ensuring that such a disaster never again befalls the country.
Well, the government is committed to ensuring that this doesn't happen again. Steps will be taken. The order is being dredged so that anytime we have rainfall for more than 3 hours, it doesn't overflow its limit.
Right. Derek Ekosam, many thanks for that update. And that was my colleague Derek Ekosam, who was at that ceremony to mark June 3. Well, my colleague Francis Aban takes us back to that fateful day, June 3, 2015, in the following report.
time just slips away. Please remember. Please remember.
So indeed, that was the situation a year ago when the country lost more than 150 souls to flood and fire. Well, there were some heroes on the day though, and my colleague Derek Sam has been telling us their story.
I do it because of God's sake. And so far as, though I also at the risk, but I think they are also my relatives. So I just jump inside the water and I save the lady and the grandchildren and own daughter. But then I got burned.
But I don't want to remind you of your sad moments, but just relive the moments. Why did you see these people, and why did you decide to go through all of that just to save them?
Okay, I was at my shop before. I was inside the shop. I was hearing noise outside. Whoa, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying. So my wife decided to go for the children. I said, hey, you come inside and think about yourself. But as the situation going, the lady is crying, I'm dying, my daughter is dying. And I got outside, inside the water, I swim the water, and I carry the woman inside.
What was going through your mind when you jumped into the water to save somebody else? Were you not afraid?
Though I was afraid, but I was still risking myself to save them, because life is precious.
How deep was the water then?
Oh, the water. When I jumped inside the water level was at my chest.
At your chest?
If I may not lie. The water level was at my chest. But I still try my best and bring them out.
When you remember that you had to save somebody, how do you feel?
I feel so miserable, so pity. Even can't control myself, but still, I need to try my best.
And you also got burnt in the process. Tell me, how did that also happen?
Immediately, I jumped inside the water to save them. There was a fire explode. So my whole shop, people, television that I replay, water carried some burn. The whole shop started burning. That I got burn on my legs.
You still feel the pain?
Yeah.
So I understand that people, they lived here in this house.
Yeah, that was my landlord and his family lived this house. But before, all of them escaped. Yes.
So the 12-year-old and the mother.
And yeah, the 12 years and the small baby, almost 1.5 years with a mother. Those that I saved, including myself and my wife.
Okay. So that's the story of Eric. He saved his landlady's daughter and granddaughter. I want to speak to the woman whose relatives were rescued so she can corroborate this story for me. Hello. Mommy. So sorry to have barged in on you just like that. Do you remember that guy?
Yes.
You remember
Yeah,
him?
yes, I know him.
Okay. What do you remember him for?
I remembered when we had a flood. That was last year. He saved my daughter and the child.
When you say saved, what do you mean?
After the explosion, we all jumped into the water, and she sitting on a roof got scared, and she also jumped into the water with the baby and was taken away. And he, hiding somewhere, saw that a baby and a mother was going to die, and he went out to save them.
At what point did you realize that he had saved your daughter and your grandchild?
That was after rescuing myself on the wall. There I realized I was with my family. And I started asking, where are the children? Where are the children? And to me, I knew if the flood is over, I will saw them dead in the house. But my God so good. Through him, he saved them.
F4 Evans Chinwe brings us the story of how a school that was submerged on the day at Nima is recovering.
I'm here at the youngsters' school at Nima, which was not spared the wrath of last year's flooding. Students had to live with family members and friends from adjoining communities. Headmasters of the school, Glenfield Felix Tay and Macaulay Muslim, said the school is still counting its losses a year after the floods.
There's a big gutter behind the school. So the gutter became flooded and then spilled over onto the compound. We had then wooden fence. It broke the wooden fence and then entered the classrooms. Those classrooms here broke into the classroom, removed all the chairs and the desks, and then went on through this way, and then went through with all the chairs and tables out of the compound.
It was that serious. The wall behind this building all went down. I was on the compound then. By the time I came out of my office, the water was up to my waist level. They were here studying. They would have stayed probably up to 8 p.m. In fact, that was the more reason why I also stayed behind and I got caught up in the flood. I ensured that they all left here because when I saw the situation, I quickly dispatched all of them, and so actually they didn't witness any of the distractions that we saw that night.
Final year students of the school are expressing mixed feelings.
Last year was really bad. It was really, really bad, you know. Last year, some candidates lost their parents, and this year, actually, I'm hoping it will be okay this year, because last year was really scary.
I'm not scared because it's just something that we are supposed to forget and move on in life.
June 3rd is going to repeat itself again. Since it actually happened in Circle. Circle was the main place in which many people died and the rest. When it happened, it destroyed many lives and we were supposed to clear the gutters, but it didn't happen. So I think this year, June 3rd will repeat itself.
I'm still here at Nima, close to the gutter that overflowed onto both sides of the road last year, June 3. It came all the way here, broke the walls. So this is actually a new wall you're seeing over there built by the school. What measures are we putting in place to ensure this does not occur again? Reporting from Nima, Ifwa Evans Chinri for Joy News.
Well, still on last year's flood and fire disaster, and the traditional priests of Accra say the disaster was the making of the gods. Now, he says they've been angered by the lack of respect shown to traditions of the Ga people. Chief priest of the Ga state, Nawulomo Numo Akwamensa, says the gods are still angry.
Grief engulfed the nation and darkness wrenched the little dim light that hanged over the country when flood waters inundated homes, offices, marketplaces and leisure centers on June 3 last year. Over 150 people died on that fateful Wednesday night, most of them at the Goyle filling station at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, where hundreds of people had been trapped. While the cause of floods was blamed largely on the choked odor, the president of the Ga Traditional Council attributed the disaster to the Dumso Vigil, a march organized in protest against the country's energy crisis. The council says the protest violated the ban on drumming and noise-making at the time.
Last year, we all witnessed a lot of or series of disasters. Some are minor, some are major. That it affected everybody. People were agitating to this fact that the demonstration that was organized by the youth, dubbed Dumso whatever, Vigil, is absolutely the cause of the disaster we had. Fine. If everybody knows that that thing was wrong and it was done in the wrong timing, then yes, nobody needs to be blamed for that. Because one, when there is ban on drumming, we want absolute silence. And I'm telling you, I complain about these things that you can never have a demonstration without noise. Let's go back to May 9th, when the House and Kotoko match was played, that we had the most, if I should say, serious disaster ever was played during. We've had ban on drumming, and that incident came. Nobody has even complained because everybody thought it was fun, but that is wrong. You see, look at the number of lives that were lost. Yes, it happened again, and again, and again. And then we are facing the consequences, and we are not trying to go by the rule.
It's been a year since the incident happened, and according to the chief priest of the Ghana state, Numo Akwa Mensah III, Ghanaians have still failed to observe.
So how do we avoid a repeat of this disaster? We can pick lessons, obviously, from the facts gathered on the ground and ensure that the future is obviously a better one. But the committee set up to investigate the disaster, we do know, was chaired by Justice Isaac Dose, a retired appeal court judge, and we're trying our very best to get a lot more on that very report. My colleague Felix Akoyam joins me in studio now with a lot more on the work of this committee and what has become of it. Felix, many thanks for joining us. So, what do we know about the work of this committee?
Essentially, I mean, this committee was just put together to really ascertain what caused that, flooding on June 3rd last year. And just like you rightly mentioned, it was chaired by a retired court judge, Justice Dose. It was a 5-member committee, and they did it. As at now, the committee's findings is not public yet, but there are a few details we got when they presented their findings to the president, and they gave the cause of the floods. There's an intermediate cause and the main cause. So the first cause they give is that inadequate water channels in Accra metropolis was one major factor, and the immediate cause they also give was the fact that the fire that started, the whole thing was a fire, started by one set, Kwesi Ofosu, who indeed did not dispose of properly the butt of a cigarette he was smoking. Quite apart from that, they also mentioned a remote cause, which is the flooding that, of course, happened at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. And they also mentioned another intermediate cause, displacement of fuel from the Goyle filling station. You and I do know that there are others who are pointing accusing fingers at the Goyle filling station for causing the fire, but the committee also did indicate that they were not responsible for the disaster that occurred. But we can also speak about some of the recommendations that the committee made, and one is the fact that they advised government to try and dredge the Odo River. We know some works,
which we know is something is being done
currently ongoing. The second one is a ban on the use of plastic as carrier bags, water dispensers, and cooked food containers. This one, we know that the ban on plastic is still a big challenge because plastics, we still see plastics all over. They also suggested standardized training, certification, and licensing of filling station attendants. And we also do know that after this disaster, government tried, closing down some filling stations that were unauthorized. We know as we speak that there is still one filling station which is still unauthorized, that's still operating. Quite apart from that, they also recommended that we create a sanitation police, compulsory fitting of all commercial vehicles with refuse baskets or bins, and equipping of disaster managers with the requisite tools to effectively handle disasters. And final one, provision of air ambulances and helicopters for police and the ambulance service. We know that as it stands now, the ambulance service do not even have enough ambulances to cover, the whole country. And so clearly this recommendation has not been fulfilled. And they also recommend an ad hoc measure, which is the fact that government demolished several structures, including fuel stations, which were either considered to be on water courses or pose danger to lives and property.
Right. Felix, many thanks for that update. And that was my colleague Felix Akoyam bringing us a lot more on the work of that committee that was put together by the president to investigate the June 3 flood and fire disaster last year. He brought us an update on their work so far. We'll be bringing a lot more in our news and news analysis program, The Pulse, which airs at 3 p.m. on the same network. I did tell you earlier, though, that there was a service to commemorate this very day. Remember the many souls that perished last year. And also, there was a wreath-laying ceremony as well. So we can now bring you excerpts of the wreath-laying ceremony.
June 3rd disaster, never again. Of the people and on behalf of the government, never again will this disaster happen to this country. Next. Never, never, never again. Such a disaster befall on this country. Never again. The acting president of GA Traditional Council, Ni Dodu Insaki III. And now the Member of Parliament, never again, never again, never again will such a magnitude of disaster befall on this country. Never again. And now, never again. Never again. Never again. Madame Faustina Asai is a survivor. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Ministers of State, we pray that this disaster will never, ever, ever happen to this country.
the Black Stars, who left Accra this morning for Mauritius for the 2017 AFCON qualifier against Mauritius on Sunday. Now, the team has been camping in Accra since Monday ahead of the game. Deputy Captain Andre Ayew, who will lead the team following Asamoah Gyan's absence, is hopeful of a positive result, but has warned of underrating the Mauritius team.
We know that everything has been set for us to go safely to Mauritius and do our best to get a victory. Everything has been done. We want to thank you for that too, for all the work that you have put in up to let everything be ready for us. And now we just want to prepare and go there and get a victory for our nation. So we're going to prepare very well, go there and we'll go for nothing less than 3 points. Thank you.
Right, so talking about AFCON qualifiers for this weekend, already the game between Djibouti and Tunisia is ongoing. It's 3 minutes into that game and it's still goalless. Coming up later today in Group F, it will be Libya hosting Morocco, and then we'll have Chad also hosting Nigeria. Mauritania up against Cameroon. Those are the matches that are coming up later today. But tomorrow, those matches are actually coming up tomorrow. Now on Sunday, which is June 5, other matches also are coming up. And then in Group A is Liberia up against Togo. In Group B is Madagascar hosting DR Congo. Central African Republic are hosting Angola. And then in other matches, Benin plays at home to Equatorial Guinea. Comoros Islands are up against Burkina Faso. Kenya take on Congo. Mauritius up against Ghana. Lesotho up against Ethiopia. Swaziland hosts Guinea. And then Zimbabwe will take on Malawi. So those matches are coming up on Sunday in the AFCON qualifiers. Now, quickly, let me take you through what is happening in the Roland Garros as we speak today. There are some matches that have, taking place and that are going to be taking place later today. It's Novak Djokovic who will be taking on Dominic Thiem. Stanislas Wawrinka will also take on Andy Murray. In the women's division, Gabriel Muguruza has beaten Samantha Stosur 6-2, 6-4. Serena Williams is also up against Kiki Bertens. Serena Williams won the first set by 7-6, and she's also leading the second set, which is currently underway. 5-3 is the score as we speak. So those matches are actually taking place right now as we speak, and that will do it for sports. But you can check Joy Sports out on Twitter. We're there. Our handle is at Joy Sports GH. On Facebook, you can find us at Joy Sports. You can also follow us on Facebook. My personal handle on Twitter is at Baba Tando. That happens to be my full name, and that happens to be it for sports for this week. Have a lovely weekend and good afternoon.
We'll bring you more of that on Let's Talk Entertainment. But now let's also talk about the Liberian Ghanaian-based actor Frank Atos, who says that ladies give him all the looks. Now, we asked him, how does he manage that?
But what can you say?
So what do you do? What do you do when they come?
You have to be very professional about it, that's all. You just have to treat them as such. I mean, most of them come around with oh, I'm a fan, I love your movie. So you treat them as such.
Right, so that is really exciting. We'll bring you more updates during Let's Talk Entertainment at 4:45. Thank you so much for your time.
And that's how we wrap up on today's edition of News Today on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. My name is Kwabena Chenchaini. There's more news when you log on to www.myjoyonline.com. The marketplace is up next with John Kojo Amwaku. Many thanks for your company.